Hi guys, and welcome to Blackbeard Action. If you're joining me today, it's because you want a little bit more information, or maybe you're considering a Citizen Nighthawk. This watch has become my daily driver. It's the one that I take with me to work. It's the one that I take with me when I go out into the field, whether it be camping or any other activity. If you've seen my previous video, you know that my daily driver used to be a GWG 1000 from Casio, which is their big, bad, field watch. There are a couple of reasons why this has become the new, piece that I take with me everywhere. Of all the 10 watches that you can kind of see behind me in my little cabinet. But I didn't really think that I'd get to the point where my GWG would be put in the background and only pulled out for a couple of occasions. I'm going to go over most of those with you, and hopefully what I'm going to share with you today will allow you to either really consider buying one, or you're actually going to pull the trigger and purchase one for yourself. So hopefully you're going to enjoy this. I'm going to try to go over every feature that I can with it and why I absolutely love this thing. All right, guys, let's take a look. All right, guys, I've got the table set up here, and let's go ahead and put the watch under the light and take a look at it. Now, this is the Nighthawk from Citizen, and isn't she beautiful? Now, granted, the one that you purchase is going to be a little bit more beautiful because this is a real watch, and it's worn by a real human being, and it has been real places. So it's got a couple of love dings in it. It's got a couple of signs that actually show that I wear this watch almost every single day. We'll jump into a couple of the features here, just to let you know. It is water resistant to 200 meters, as you can see, indicated underneath the date at the 3 o'clock position. It is a GMT. The secondary ring on the inside here is, quite useful once you get used to it. I mean, I absolutely love it, watching the little plain hands go around the side. It is completely stainless steel and an eco drive, which means it is solar powered. There are so many things to brag about on this watch that you're just absolutely going to fall in love with. Now, for the astute amongst you, you can obviously see that it is a pilot's watch, which means that you have the ability to make calculations by rotating the inner bezel with this little with this little crown on the outside. Multi-directional, so you can go left, right, up and down, however you want to interpret this. This is a really cool little feature to have, in the fact that not only can you, calculate how much fuel you have left if you're an actual pilot, but if you want to be lazy at a restaurant, you can also calculate a tip with this. It's just an amazing little watch to have. Little Nighthawk symbol there on the side, signed on the crown. Gorgeous, gorgeous watch. It almost has like a little red tint from the back, and that's the the solar feature on the inside where you can actually power the watch. And it will power itself by underneath the lamp that you see me using right here to put it on the table. Back of the watch, as I mentioned before, it's a 200 meter water resistance. I'm sorry. Let me pop this off real quick. So you can see that it has got, the back case is a screw down, obviously, which you're going to need. I highly suggest that you don't ever open that up. If you ever have any issue whatsoever, just send it back to Citizen and they'll take care of it for you. They have an amazing service department. But let's get into some of the nitty gritty about it and actually get some nerd stats on it. So Citizen Nighthawk, as I said, model number BJ7000-52E. Made in Japan, and let's start going over some of the features on the case. Case size is 42 millimeter, but it does not wear that size. This thing wears a lot smaller than what you would consider. I mean, just absolutely wonderful when it's on the wrist. Doesn't get too hot, doesn't get too cold, depending on what environment you're in. I've personally taken this thing camping with me in the dead of January, so it's dealt with sub-zero temperatures. Ticked away, no problem whatsoever. Dealt with me, processing wood with my hatchet, to make my little fire there at night. I have a tendency to sleep in my watches as well, and this one does not bother me whenever I'm in bed. The going back to the case, if we turn it to the side here, 12 millimeter thickness, little chunky, but not nearly as much so as say my GWG 1000. I mean, this one I'm not smacking on the sides of doors. I don't hate my life whenever I reach into a drawer and it starts smacking things around because it obviously has a lot less size to deal with. As far as the weight goes on it, like when it's on your wrist, I mean, you really get used to it very quickly. Like you're not going to notice the weight on it whatsoever, or at least if you are into larger watches. As we can see in the time starting to come over the side here, the date position is at the 3 o'clock, and you know what? Of most of the watches that I have that are analog, most of them are at the 4 o'clock. I actually really love it at the 3 o'clock. I don't know why. It's just a personal preference, but I really like the 90 degrees of it if I had to really put my finger on it. Because you've got 12 and 6, and directly at a 90-degree angle, you've got the 3 o'clock, which is just fabulous. Going over a couple of more details of it. I mean, honestly, obviously it's analog. This is not atomic, by the way. You have to set this manually. That includes the date, that includes the time during daylight savings time, what have you. One of the coolest things about this watch is the Lume. Now, if you are a fan of Seiko, you know that they love to pride themselves on the durability and the visibility of their luminescence at night. This thing makes them look stupid. I've got my window open right now, so I'm not exactly able to show you like how bright this thing is in the middle of the night. But the hands and Lume on this are blue, and of all of the watches that I have, this one holds the Lume the best, and that includes the GWG 1000. Like, you put a good charge on this from the sunlight, and 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:30 in the morning when I'm in my tent, I'm still able to read this easily. So I can't say enough about this little watch. Had it for about 10 months, I would say, and as you can see, there's like no scratch on that face. I mean, it's just the crystal is insane. Holds up a hell of a lot better than say the Seiko Hardlex. Like there's no comparison to this. The band. Let's talk about the band really quick. Now, 22 mil like that, but it does taper down to the back, which feels really great whenever you've got it, underneath your wrist, in this area here. It breathes so much better than the NATO strap that I had on it for about 6 months. Now, don't get me wrong, the green NATO strap that I have for this looks, just freaking pimp. It's unreal. But I've gotten to in the last couple of months, really enjoying my steel bands again on the side. Like, these bracelets feel so much better to me once I've actually got them, dialed in and set. Like, honestly, it's the new way that I prefer wearing a watch, unless I'm wearing, say a digital watch, and then plastic is great because I'm probably out in the yard mowing or weed eating or doing something along those lines, and I really don't care how much I beat up those watches, like my G-Shocks, for example. Now, that's not to say that I haven't mowed the lawn with this, and I haven't, cut the weeds from my weed whacker and whatnot with it as well. And honestly, I mean, it breathes so well that I don't even sweat underneath it. Like, I sweat everywhere else, but I mean, the sweat just rolls, completely through this thing, and I never noticed. On my NATO strap, that was absolutely annoying because it would be a different color whenever I came back inside. Just full of sweat, full of sweat. But, I mean, this is an amazing, amazing little watch. You spend like an extra $3 or $4 on Amazon if you're going to order it from, such a website, and just get yourself a little kit to, deal with the links yourself. Or if you're a watch aficionado already, I'm sure you've already got the tools to pop these out, which is extremely simple. I mean, I do all the work on my watches myself, unless I actually have to get inside here, which I never have, at which point in time I'm sending it right back to Citizen in California. Like, they're going to fix it there and then send it back, no problem. But, Yeah, if you guys are interested in a watch like this, uh, I highly suggest picking one up. Citizen makes one of the best watches or you know what, I'm not even going to pack that up. Citizen is one of the best watch brands that I've ever come across. Uh, it's one of the reasons that my wife has a Citizen as well, is because I talk so highly of them, and they make, a beautiful product. This thing is not a lightweight either. This thing can stand up to a butt ton of abuse. I mean, it is a military watch. Don't let the beauty fool you. This thing can really get down in the woods. Uh, Obviously, it's a pilot's watch, and a couple of folks actually do use it for its main function. So if they were to go down in the woods, I mean, this thing is really going to save them. No, excuse me, I'm having myself an adult beverage in the background. I needed to wet my whistle. So absolutely simple to use. Screw down crown is one. Oh, I forgot to say that altogether. Screw down crown because it is 200-meter water resistance. So obviously it's going to. I have no idea what kind of magic or voodoo they work with for this bezel on the side that rotates the chapter ring. Like, this thing is ridiculous. I don't know how water doesn't get in here and then into the watch proper. I'm not sure what kind of magical technique that they've got for that, but whatever it is, it's freaking fantastic. I mean, I've never ever had a problem with water in this, and I have tried. I mean, obviously because it's stainless steel, I like to hit it with a little bit of dish soap if I've had like a really grimy day, working. But I mean, it just takes it like a champ. I mean, it shines up like a beauty queen with 30 seconds worth of work. I mean, it's unreal. Talking about the band itself, I really can't say enough about it. I mean, it's a simplistic design. I mean, it flows really well. I mean, you can get it to do the wave if you really want to. But this thing wears so much nicer than my Seiko Pilot watch, which is one of the reasons why this is my daily driver. And of course, I mean, it doesn't look out of place if you take it into the corporate world either. I mean, nice and black. The only thing that would be, slightly off would maybe be the red accent, but I mean, you could put that together with like a shirt. I mean, you could put that together with a tie. I mean, this thing classes up beautifully. I mean, just look at how cool this is. I mean, let me see if I can get that to focus. Yeah, there we go. Sorry about my fingernails, guys. Like I said, like I actually get out in my yard and do a couple of things. But no, can't say enough about this watch. It is my daily driver. It is so comfortable. It is so robust and such a good looking watch. I mean, I just can't say enough about it. So now you're probably wondering, what's the price of a watch like this? It really depends. I've never seen this watch over a $200 mark. I've seen it for about 190, which is what I think I paid for it during Christmas. Which the price went up just a smidge because of the just the stock availability. But honestly, the last time that I looked at Amazon, I think you can pick one of these things up for about 185, 180 around that area, which is insane value for this watch. For something that can put up with the water resistance, for something that can put up with, the heat, the cold, basically anything that you can really throw at this watch. I mean, $180 is unbelievable for what you get. And that's even comparing it to my Flightmaster from Seiko, which ran me around 225, 230 during the holiday season, which is usually when I pick up a watch, that or my birthday. But I mean, it's just such an insanely good little watch. I mean, look at how beautiful this thing wears. I mean, just look at how cool that is. Like, I mean, if a watch doesn't turn you on, I mean, you shouldn't have it. I mean, these things are supposed to excite you. I mean, just look at this sexiness. Just look at it. All right, not me, but the watch. This sexiness. Just, I mean, that's what the watch is supposed to make you feel like. It's supposed to fire you up inside. Like, every time you look at it, you're like, yes, this is why I did this. So, and for 180 bucks, I mean, you absolutely can't go wrong with that. I mean, now I know that 180 bucks is not exactly a small chunk of change. I mean, hell, $100 isn't a joke either. I mean, every penny counts nowadays. But this is one of those things that I would say, like, seriously, you know, if you have to save up a little bit of coin, call in a couple of favors, the IOUs or whatever like that. If you're gonna rock a watch, I highly suggest getting one of these. It's, I mean, elegant may not be my forte, or how to justify elegant for that matter, but I do know a damn good watch, and this is a damn good watch. So if you guys want to give it a try, you will not be disappointed with it. I think we've all had watches before. If you're a collector of any kind, that you can't you just can't wait to get rid of it. Like, there are some watches that you purchase and there's no honeymoon period with it. You're just like, God, why did I buy this? And I've actually gotten rid of a couple of watches like that, and most of them being Seiko for that matter. And not that I dislike Seiko whatsoever. It's just the the difference in quality between Citizen and Seiko is negligible until you actually start wearing the watches. My Flightmaster, for example, wears so damn heavy that, I mean, this one feels like a ballerina. It feels so light when you pick it up. But I mean, you're going to have to pick one up for you to actually understand, and why I just gush about this watch. But anyway, at the high end, at the highest possible end on price for one of these, you're going to be looking at $200. Like I said, I haven't seen it hit that point before. I've heard that it's hit that before, like during holiday seasons if stock goes down. But we're not in the holiday season right now. And if you want to pick one up, it's like $180 from Amazon. I mean, go pick that up. You even get free returns if you hate the watch. I highly doubt that you will, but I mean, you can't go wrong with it. And I always highly suggest using Amazon because of their return policy. I've returned watches to them that I absolutely couldn't stand. Timex, but we'll leave that alone. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for stopping by today. If you like what you see, go on down there, hit that like button. If you don't like it, that's cool too. I'm a big boy. And if you like what you see, consider subscribing. But I've got a couple of more reviews to bring you guys in the following couple of days, and I hope you stick around to watch them. I really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for stopping by.